Hello folks, this is Rob Hamilton from Soul Canyon Training and Development. Got a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm just going to jump right into it. What we're going to be talking about in this session is a little bit about projectors, some stuff about audio, that's where I'm going to spend most of the time, and then a little bit at the end around different software and tools that you can use in the presentation room, like your mouse, like your laser pointer, slide advancer, some software tools you can use to enhance some of the things you do with your content and your sales presentation. So let's get right into it. In terms of projectors, the organization that I purchased all of my projectors from is the Projector People out of Virginia. This is the organization that Pryor has a relationship with, so we get a discount. Their support is excellent, so I've had great experience with them, and I know a number of other trainers have as well. I have heard some input, and I think there is a good argument for picking up a projector from an electronics retailer like Best Buy, Fry's, or any of the other ones, simply because when you're in a city, if you have a catastrophic situation where you need to replace a bulb, or you need service, or you need to swap out your projector, having one of these that you can go to, if you purchase the extended maintenance agreement or whatever, is a great option. I know a number of trainers feel that way. So if you're into checking out the Projector People, here's their website. Their number is 1-888-248-0675. It's projectorpeople.com. Now, in terms of overall projectors, what you're looking for, in my opinion, would be brightness. I believe state-of-the-art these days for projectors we can carry on the road is 2600 plus in terms of lumens. I think it's more like 3000 to 3200 these days. You're also looking for lightweight, less than 5 pounds, and that's pretty easy to get with a lot of the leading projectors that are out there in the $1,000 or less range, or maybe right around $1,000. Lamp life, now that is one thing to really look at because the cost of a replacement lamp is hundreds of dollars, usually approaching about half the cost of the original projector. So a lot of the projectors that are out there will have a multi-thousand hour lamp life, 3,000 or 4,000 hours. The thing about the LED green projectors, which is why I've chosen the Casio, which you'll see in here in a second, is as a 20,000 hour lamp life. So that's one thing to definitely look at. And then overall support, and we kind of mentioned your ability to get support while you're on the road. That could be one big reason for considering a bricks and mortar place like Best Buy or one of the other retailers. Now, I think projector that a lot of people have, and this is a current version of it, is the Casio green LED projector. I have a version of this. It's like 3 or 4 years old. It's more like 2600 lumens. It's really nice because it has a very nice, crisp, sharp image, super long lamp life, very portable. It's right around 5 pounds. So the Casio, this is, I believe, the state-of-the-art, the one, if you were going to go with this line, you'd probably want to pick up today. It's 3000 lumens. It's at the wide XGA. If you teach Excel, that's one of the things to look for, I think, is the wide screen view, so you can show more of an Excel spreadsheet up on the screen at any particular point in time. So this Casio green LED line is a really good one to look for. And this is one I'd look at. The big differential here between this one and the Casio that I just showed, though, is lamp life. I believe this one has 4,000 hour lamp life. It's about $500 less, though. So there's that trade-off. This is a little lighter. It has a nice crisp image, and it's a really good little projector, so this is one to check out. So that is projectors. Now, in terms of connecting your projector to your computer, you're going to want a long HDMI cable. This one's 25 feet. This allows me to get away from the screen, not block the participant's view to the screen. So I say a 25 foot is a really good length of an HDMI cable. That'll cover most of your needs. Now, in terms of basic audio configuration, the thing you're going to want in the middle of everything as your hub is a mixer. And then here, just from the standpoint of a schematic, your computer can go into the mixer. Your music from a separate source, if you want to, like an iPod or your phone or whatever you're going to use, can come in separately to the mixer. And your microphone can come into the mixer. And then out, you can either go to house sound via an XLR cable or another connection, which I'll show you here in a second. Or you can go out to your own local speaker, depending on the size of the group, the quality of your speaker, and your ability or not to get into house sound. Now, in terms of the mixer itself, I think the most important kind of hub for the whole system. I use a Behringer mixer. I use this one over here on the left. I've used it for a number of years. It has the ability to bring in audio inputs, take one set of audio outputs back out of your computer if you want to record on your computer. Has the ability to bring in your microphone either off a 1/4 inch or an XLR, and then the ability to control sound. Now, I believe one that Guy Burns uses is this one over here. This gives you a lot more options in terms of inputs. Here you only have one XLR input, but here you can have two, a separate 1/4 inch, and the ability to control sound on both of those, some different input and output options. So more input options, more output options, more ability to fine tune your sound control. This is looking like more like what you'd expect to look a regular mixer to look like. And it's about, these days, you guys, the same price. So if I had to do it over again, I'd probably pick this one up simply because it gives you the ability to control sound and elements of sound a lot better. There's one in the middle called a Xenix. It's a Behringer, but the particular model line is the Xenix 502. There's one in the middle that kind of is a blend between these two. All of these can be picked up out on Amazon.com for $39, $49. So go check those out. It's really important to get a good mixer to help you control the different elements of sound in your system. The microphone that I have now, and I've had for about 4 years, is the Shure PGX D4. This was a really good bit of input that I got from Jamie Swindell. Went with the Shure. The problem I was having before I went with this was that I had a PV system with a single antenna, and what I learned from the standpoint of broadcasting from a wireless input source. So this would be the receiver, and this would be the lavalier wireless lapel mic, which I like. I don't like anything on my head. Of course, you can also do a headphone type of situation if you'd like, but I don't like that, so I go with the lapel mic. But with a single antenna, there would be places in the room, because I roam around a lot when I'm in the room, that it would cut out. So I'd have to scamper back to a hot spot where it could actually receive the signal. So with this receiver, it has two antennas, so it can always triangulate a lot better the sound source coming in. So I've been very, very happy. This is about $400. I believe there's probably a newer model number out there, but I've had this for about 4 years, and it's a great, great microphone. In terms of audio input, there's some different things to know about connectors. There's always multiple options from inputting from your sound source into your mixer and then your output. So these would be 1/4 inch, and what I use the 1/4 inch for is I go into the back side of my microphone, and then I use the 1/4 inch to come into the mixer off of my wireless mic receiver. These are 1/8 inch, so this is the 1/8 inch to audio jack. So this is a left and a right audio jack. I use this to go from my computer into the mixer and from my music source, which is an iPod, into the mixer. This, if I don't use a mixer, and there are times when I don't, this is an 1/8 inch, and what I do is I come out from my speaker, my standalone speaker, which you'll see in a second. I come out from that, and then I have the ability to put an 1/8 inch into this and then go out to my computer. And then I have also the ability to put an 1/8 inch into this other side and go to my sound system. And this is if I don't want to carry my mixer and just have a super simplified sound system. Now, one thing I've learned over the years is that you have to have the ability to go from anything to anything. So I have all the different types of adapters, all the different connections that in this case goes from the 1/4 inch off the backside of your mic into an XLR in case you want to go into your mixer with an XLR. I have the ability here to take the 1/4 inch into an 1/8 inch in case you want to go into the 1/8 inch input in your mixer. I also have the ability to reduce an XLR into a 1/4 inch. So if I want to come into the house sound system off an XLR, but I want to come out of my mixer with a 1/4 inch, I have all of these. Now, these were largely a result of going down to the Guitar Center and talking about my situation as a speaker, and then giving me all sorts of different options for dealing with us. I remember one particular seminar I was teaching in Bakersfield. They had the old stereo receiver, not an XLR jack, but a stereo receiver I had to go into, where I picked this one up in order to be able to plug in that way. So all different ways of coming out and into all sorts of different size options here. The local speaker I use is a JBL Flip. I cannot speak highly enough about it. It's $79 to $99 and produces incredibly rich, very, very clean sound. That's what you're looking for. I think the combination of clean sound and affordability makes this the speaker of choice for me. Now, in terms of the XLR cable, I have a 25-foot XLR cable. Usually go into the wall off of this end here. So this is the wall of the back side of your, or the side of your presentation room, and come into your mixer with this end of it. Or you can change this by going into the adapter, a different XLR adapter, if you want to come in differently. So it has both different types of ends here, an input and an output, and it's long, 25 feet, so I can reach very far if I have to go to reach that far for house sound. One of the things that you can do that gives you more flexibility is pick up one of these things. It's actually called a laptop interface device. And the reason it's called that is you can just totally forego a mixer, come off the XLR, that's the part of the house sound system, and then come into an 1/8 inch and go directly into your computer that way if you want, and then control your sound level this way. I do this even if I'm going into the mixer, because then I can go into the 1/8 inch input on the mixer and control sound separately. It gives you a different volume control here. So I really love this. Once again, this is a wonderful thing you can pick up out on Amazon. Now here's a couple of typical connections. So here's the mixer right here, and here's my computer, and then my wonderful old school iPod, which I love because it contains about 1 trillion songs. So I'm coming off the 1/8 inch, so the 1/8 inch is going into the iPod and then coming into the mixer through one of the audio cables. And then the other thing I'm doing is coming off of my computer 1/8 inch and into the other audio input. Now here what I've done is I've added the fact that I've got my 1/4 inch cable going into the backside of my microphone. Microphone's over here, the receiver, and then it's coming into the 1/8 inch here. And then what I'm doing in terms of output is via an 1/8 inch cable, I'm connecting to the backside of my JBL Flip for sound. And this would work for up to 1,000 people. In fact, I've even had groups of 150 teaching XL where the house sound system didn't work or it had cracks and pops. So I just cut away from that, switched over to this, and was just fine. So even if you never went into house sound, you could manage any size group that Pryor comes up with this JBL Flip speaker as your output. Now, in this situation, the only thing I've done is gotten rid of the local speaker and shown you how I go into house sound. So the only thing that's different over here is that instead of the JBL Flip speaker, I'm coming off the 1/8 inch into the laptop interface, this little Rapco thing right here, and then the XLR is coming into that, and the other end of the XLR is going into the house sound. This would be in the wall of the conference room. Now, in terms of all my audio equipment, I pack it into a nice little 13 inch by 9 inch bag so I can deal with this separately. I don't always take my audio system with me. If I have groups of 60 or less, I will do the simplified sound system where I just go off the computer and off my music source directly into the computer. Don't use the mixer, don't use anything. But if I have a group of 60 or more, I'll take the full audio sound system with me and pack this into my carry-on bag with clothes surrounded. I've never had a problem, never had anything break. So it's the mixer, it's the wireless mic receiver, and it's all the cabling. Everything's in here with a couple of extra sets of batteries. Always take 4 extra AA batteries because especially that microphone, a set of AA batteries lasts me about 1 day. In terms of my computer bag, I use a Targus computer bag that has room for the computer, the projector, and all of my cables and everything here. I put all of my paperwork back here, all my credit cards, travel cards, and everything, and this goes with me everywhere I go. Never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 ever check this stuff. So it's a great bag. It's a roller bag, and then when I'm hauling it around and I have my carry-on bag with me, this just goes right on top of it, and I carry it and pull it as a unit. In terms of a mouse, I use the Microsoft Wireless Mobile Mouse 4000. It's very, very inexpensive, and it has one programmable button. And I'm going to show you in a second here the software that I linked to that. It's actually a Microsoft accessory called Magnifier. So it's very, very affordable, works just like a regular mouse, but it has one programmable button, and that's all I need. In terms of a laser pointer and a slide advancer, I use the Jade Remote. This was once again at the suggestion of Jamie Swindell and others. Has a very nice bright green pointer. I love that. And the slide advancer works great. And then you got some programmable buttons you can use right here. Now the other thing I use the Jade Remote for is when I teach the Evelyn Wood speed reading program, I hook the Zoom It, which I'll show you in a second here, timer to one of these buttons. And so I can initiate the reading timer from anywhere in the room, and then I have a few other things. I don't use the Jade Remote to the degree that some other trainers use it, but it's a very, very powerful tool, and I love it. Now, the way I magnify the screen, especially when I'm teaching Excel, so that my participants can see when I really need to zoom in on an element of the ribbon or a particular button or a part of the screen, is I use the magnifier. Magnifier is a Windows accessory that you can run separately off the keyboard, but that's not the way I do it. The way I do the magnifier is off my Microsoft programmable mouse. I just hook the magnifier utility to it. Then I don't have that weird magnifying glass. I just hit the button and it magnifies the screen, and it is fantastic. I love it. The other option, and I know a lot of trainers use this, I did for a number of years, and I still use it when I teach for the community college here in Southern Oregon, is Zoom It. You just go out either to Microsoft.com or just do a general Google search for Zoom It. You download it, and then you have the Zoom It utility. Now, the Zoom It utility is keyboard shortcut driven. So Control 4 is live zoom. It also has the break timer that I use when I teach Evelyn Wood. It has some drawing tools that I know a number of other trainers use. So it's really, really good. I do believe the Zoom It utility, well, I know it can be hooked to one of the Jade Remote buttons, but I do believe it could also be hooked, if I wanted to the magnifier, or instead of the magnifier, to the programmable button on my mouse. So Zoom It and Magnifier are two ways that you can make the screen bigger so that your participants can see part of it as you're explaining a certain element of it when you're teaching, particularly any of the software classes. One of the tools I love when I'm creating little pieces of a screen that I want people to see, either in a workbook or on a PowerPoint slide or whatever, is the snipping tool. What that allows you to do is just basically draw a line around any aspect of the screen that you want to grab, and then it turns it into a JPEG, and then you can paste it anywhere on a PowerPoint slide or whatever to enhance and make content visual. It's really cool. It's a Windows accessory, so just grab it. I put it on my taskbar. It's always there. And to create different pictures of screens as JPEGs to supplement content. Another thing you can do is you can get an entire piece of a screen or an entire screen. So you can do that with a print screen utility, which is really, really good. What it does is it creates a screenshot of whatever you have, and then if you need to, like to show a dialog box or whatever, crop that. You can use the cropping tool to get a subset of it, and that you would do in case the snippet tool wasn't giving you exactly what you needed, because sometimes when you initiate the snipping tool, a dialog box will go away. So the way I deal with that, if I just want to show a picture of a dialog box, is I'll do a print screen, and then I will crop it using a cropping tool in any of the Microsoft Office applications. So that works out really well. The other thing you can initiate print screen from is any Microsoft application now has the ability to insert a screenshot. So that's also a possibility if you'd rather do it there. But it's right on your keyboard. If you have the need to use video editing software, the one I really like and I've used for a number of years is Camtasia. It has a really good balance of capabilities in terms of video editing with audio, video, JPEGs, laying them all down together. It gives you a picture over here of what you're working with at any particular point in time, the ability to bring in different videos and do effects. And then your work area is down here where you put in different levels of video, audio, and different images. It is a very, very steep learning curve. You could learn it very, very easily. It cost me $179 and I'm super happy with it. I'd like to thank Pryor Learning Solutions for being on the leading edge, for trying a virtual AICC and giving me the opportunity to present.